Hey guys, welcome back to Busted Seams. Today we're going to talk through some fashion designer expectations versus reality. We're going to go back to the time when I was a wee baby fashion designer in 2006, just fresh out of school, not knowing what to expect. And I'm going to take you through some of my biggest surprises that I encountered when I hit the workforce. Okay, so shipping. Shipping is not something you think about in fashion design school, but it's important because usually where your office is not the same city, state, or country where your manufacturer is. So you're probably going to be dealing with long distance shipping and international shipping, regardless of where you work. And it's very important to know how to create the correct documentation to ship things, especially internationally. It's not something that gets a lot of playtime in school because it's a very unsexy aspect of being a fashion designer. But just to give you an example, if I want to send one cutting for color standard, just one little swatch of fabric overseas, I have to print out 6 sheets of paper to send it. That's 3 shipping labels and 3 customs invoices. What's a customs invoice, you say? Well, anything you ship overseas has to go through customs and importation. So anything you ship, you have to treat like a transaction. So even though I'm not charging my mill for that color standard swatch that I'm sending, I still have to assign a value to it and print out a customs invoice in case customs opens it and is like, what is this? This is a product. This is a commercial good, and now I'm going to fine you for not including a customs invoice. So you'll usually assign like $1 as a value to it and describe what it is in basic terms, and then print out those customs invoices. Any sort of FedEx or UPS system that you use will prompt you to do this. You just have to make sure you do it. You capture the right quantity of things in the package, and you print out and attach all of those documents. Not that I've ever forgotten to. But inevitably, you will screw up and something will get stuck in customs. It's embarrassing, but learn from your mistake and don't repeat it, because there's nothing worse than being the day before a big presentation and your sample's supposed to be here, but you screwed up the customs invoices so they can't import it and you're a little bit out of luck. Software is another place where expectations do not match reality. I think in fashion design school, you expect to be working in a PLM system, maybe Adobe Illustrator, doing flat technical sketches. Maybe you expect to be working in Clo3D or Browseware, one of the 3D design programs. And those things exist and you do work in them, but most of your day you're going to spend in Microsoft Excel and Outlook, or whatever your company's email system is. Now, we live in email and spreadsheets because manufacturing is a months-long process and you need to keep good records because you as a designer have stopped thinking about something that you handed over 6 months ago, but now it's being cut and sewn and a question arises, and now you have to be a detective and figure out the history of what went wrong and when. So it's really important to keep good email records and to keep good Excel records. Now, from the time I entered the fashion industry in 2006, Excel was part of our process then, and it is part of our process today. So we use it for anything from our own personal cheat sheets to keep track of what lab dips have I ordered, what Pantone standard did I give them, did I approve it and when. So taking that information that would be an email and housing it somewhere else where it's easier to access. We also use Excel for sample tracking. We use it for communication of information to internal and external partners. That is extremely important because a PLM system isn't always built to export data in the most digestible, malleable format. So having something that's really flexible like Excel just allows you to work differently. And that's why literally every industry, regardless of how many custom programs they have, relies so heavily on Microsoft Excel. Now, email is super important. You'll spend your first hour of every day going through email, especially if you work with overseas vendors, because they responded to you overnight And now if you respond quickly enough in the morning, depending on where in the world they are, you may actually get an answer and get that exchange one more time before they go to bed. So that can be a time saver too. So there's not this like 24-hour delay back and forth as you're communicating. And I strongly, strongly recommend using some sort of task manager. I personally like Asana, but there's a lot of them out there that you can use. I like Asana because I can make my digital task list. I can move it around throughout the day, almost minute to minute. And when I check something off as complete, I have a history. So I can go search for, did I approve the lab tips for that fabric? Okay, yes, I checked it off on this date. That means it's done. So it's just another tool to get you out of email, because email can be really cumbersome to search through if you just need to know, like, what's the date that I approved this lab tip? You can find that in your task manager or in Microsoft Excel. Actual creative time expectation is that it's 99% of your job as a fashion designer. Reality is it's maybe 10%, and it's the 10% of time that's at the very end of the day, when you're exhausted, when you're depleted. That is, without fail, always the time you have to actually do creative work. So I would recommend taking advantage of that by, I like focus music. So I'll put in my earbuds at work that last hour of the day when I know I really need to like get in the zone and create on demand. It's never the time that you are energized and peppy and ready to go. There's other things that happen throughout the day. You're answering emails, you're doing the kind of physical, looking at color, maybe attending fittings, that kind of stuff, reviewing protos and writing your comments. And there's working with your cross-functional partners. So passing things over for costing, making sure things are properly built in the PLM system that you're using, scanning fabrics to load them into your PLM system. It's all of the unsexy parts of being a fashion designer that take up most of your time. And those are important because you need to get the information to your other team members, and you need to do things like track your samples and stay on top of the vendors and make sure they come in on time. You'll also spend a ton of time making presentation materials, aka cutting swatch cards. So even though actual creative time is a very small portion of your job as a corporate level fashion designer, it is really one of the most rewarding parts. So do whatever you need to do, your own personal ritual to get you in the zone quickly, because you really do have to be creative on demand. Another huge difference in expectation versus reality is just what a designer's personality is supposed to be. I think we come out of fashion design school sort of enchanted by the Devil Wears Pradas of the world, by seeing how, couture designers act and interact, and sort of this rock star personality that you're supposed to have as a fashion designer, but that just doesn't cut it. At most places you work, even if you own the company and it is your creative brand, you have to be part of a team. You have to be able to work with people and empower them with the right information and trust so that they can help you achieve your goals. You just can't be an asshole to everyone, essentially. So contrary to what you might think, understanding cost and partnering with your internal cross-functional team members will actually make you more innovative. It'll make you a more creative problem solver, and it will, from day one, allow you to design something that is practical to be made, is cost efficient, and will achieve the margins that you need, because at the end of the day, you're a business. You're trying to turn a profit. So the more you work with your other team members, the more you keep your ego in check, the better brand you're gonna build and the better end product you're gonna end up with. And another fun one is Workspace. So again, I think at the beginning of your career, you will have a definite vision of what your workspace should look like. You're gonna want everything to be color coordinated and pretty and organized, and have a big pin board with all of your inspiration images and your magazine pulls and all of that. That is not reality. You will be working almost literally atop a mountain of samples. And that's because the process of design is messy, and you have to move quickly, you have to pivot quickly. You're usually working on no less than 3 seasons at a time. So the season that's selling right now, the season that's being produced in bulk at the factory right now, and the collection that you're designing for the future. So it's hard to keep all of those straight, and you will inevitably have your in pile, which means I need to do something to it, and then you have your out pile, which means I'm done, I will file it when I get a minute. There's just usually not time, especially at the corporate design level, to file things as you finish with them. Design is a little bit chaotic. You have a lot of pieces to work with. Apparel is big and garments take up a lot of space, so don't feel bad if you don't love the way your workspace looks, if you feel like it's a little bit messy. Basically every designer I've worked with, even the most OCD of them, give in to this organized chaos eventually, and it really does just allow you to work more quickly, so embrace it. Thank you guys for joining today. I hope this video helped you understand some of the differences of expectations versus reality. There's a lot more, so maybe I'll do a follow-up video, but please like and subscribe. Let me know if you'd like to see more of this type of content from me, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys. Okay, both cameras are fucking recording this time.